Good morning or hello. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts of a Trillionaire. Today I want to go ahead and talk more about the idea or the solutions in which we can use to actually solve problems. Solve these problems of kidnapping and sex trafficking and all this bullcrap. Because there's no reason why this stuff should still be going on with all the technology, all the tools that we have at our disposal today. One idea that I was thinking a lot about is using drones. I understand FAA is like a mess with that stuff right now. Like, oh, you can't use drones or you need a license, blah, blah, blah. But either way, instead you can at least have a tethered drone or just a embellished kite that kind of keeps itself up, that can power itself with solar power perhaps. But anyways, the kite, majigger, I just call it a drone, can be tethered to your belt. And it goes with you, so when you're walking or running or whatever like that, it can watch your own. It can watch your back. You can also have one that's more of a rover that just rides on the ground by your feet, or even one that just hovers by your feet. Yeah, either one. All of these things can kind of beat around those messy regulations that doesn't really make sense right now. And anyway, the actual part of it that's important is the fact that you can arm these tools, these kites and drones or whatever, with deterrent weapons of deterrence. It doesn't have to be lethal. Probably shouldn't be, just in case it's abused. But you can arm them with weapons of deterrence, such as mace, tasers, and maybe even sleeping darts. But I don't know if that's legal. So, but yes. Arm them with these deterrents. The difference between having a deterrent that is that can be automated versus one that you have to depend upon is that the one that you have to depend upon, first of all, it's only a deterrent because, well, it's an unseen deterrent. A potential attacker will not know that you have it, and so they will come to attack you. And during that time, you can panic. A lot of people panic all the dang time, and that panic can set in as soon as you see the attacker, or by the time they're close to you and something like that. You might forget that you even have the deterrent. You might forget how to use it properly. You might end up using it in the wrong way. You miss or something like that, or they have a gun or something like that, or any of these things can happen and affect the very effectiveness of that deterrent. They can also sneak up on you and you wouldn't even know. So there's tons of things that can happen that can render these handheld deterrents useless. Not to mention their expense, or that you might need a license for some, or that which and the other. But something that's controlled by, or really not controlled, but at least gated or guided by a computer is far less likely to be co-opted, to be cut around. It's far less likely to sneak up on somebody or to or for them to panic and forget to use the deterrent if the deterrent right there is automated. It can sound an alarm right when it sees something going down. It can record the whole situation so that later when cops come or whatever, you can easily give that information rather than trying to base it off your own thoughts about your own, You can't share your thoughts with the police. You can only give them a rough description. But a video captured encounter can give them everything they need to know, and even more that you were simply not able to observe. So these tools, these abilities, a drone or a kite or whatever, is vastly more powerful and empowering for people to go outside and live their lives without having to fear of some craziness happening. Furthermore, these can be kind of categorized or situated into different models. You can have a model for the individual consumers just going out about their day, but you can also have one for like cops, for police departments, for them to set up routines. Right now they have like cop cars driving around, cops driving around their cars, trying to catch or look at something going on. But that uses manpower, and furthermore, People or humans are not infallible. They're very error prone. They miss a lot of things, and so the cop can do the same. But a drone, not only can it be a little bit sneaker at catching these bad guys, but it can also be more effective at catching them. It can view more things. It can observe more. And then you have the ability to further use this market as a way of empowerment, as a way of performing business. So not only are you protecting women and children going out on their own, or anybody going out on their own who fears for their safety, you can also give them the opportunity to give back to the company and to the company to grow. And everybody grows with that way. What do I mean by that? I mean, don't just sell a drone or sell a vehicle or sell a thing, a deterrent that's going to be a part of their everyday, routine, but also allow them to personalize it. Allow them to add their own deterrents to it. Allow them to add cosmetics to the drone or to the harness of the drone. Allow it to be modular, so that you can just buy the harness and connect it to any drone that you have. And by harness, I mean the thing that holds the deterrents, the mace or the taser or whatever you want to put on it, the camera and all that stuff. You can have modular pieces that people can buy separately to put together themselves, so they can customize it for their needs and for their own safety, for their own comfort. When you empower people to do this, you allow them to have just much more trust in you and in themselves and in the general technology, rather than just you trying to force the technology on them how you want it to be. Allow them to figure out how they want to use that piece of technology. And furthermore, in the case of empowering, you can once we give those drones, those tools, the ability to absorb power by means of solar panels, put solar panels on the drones themselves, so that when somebody's walking in the sunlight, it can actually charge itself, and it stores the excess energy in a battery. That battery can then be sold by the person. They can sell the battery to other people. They can just stock them up. They can trade them for other things. And so this empowers an interior economy, an interior marketplace within the product itself. This goes on a lot with the other things I was talking about in the other podcasts. But basically that tool of empowerment, that ability to have a marketplace within a marketplace, to have a community within a community, is incredibly powerful, because it grants people and enables people the ability to just do more and be consider themselves, and you to consider them, as a company, as an employer, as valuable people, as people of value, that can give value, that want to give value. So all of these are great resources that we can use, great concepts that we can use in our everyday markets, and specifically for this market. The safety doesn't have to be just something, some company tries to sell you or some government tries to sell you. It could be something that you want to sell yourself, that you form and mold around your life, around your use cases, around your comfort zone. So even if you don't like drones, don't like the idea of them, then you can just have a regular deterrent attached to a cell phone or something like that, your own cell phone or something, or even just a standalone button that can't really be hacked. It's just a physical button that you press, and that activates the deterrent. So it's far less likely that you'll fumble around trying to figure things out. And the deterrent itself can have an automated guiding system which ensures it hits the target. Again, for safety reasons, to talk about the privacy. For instance, if these drones or kites or whatever you want to call them has the ability to keep track of your location and put that in GPS to signal your friends and family where you're at, that can also, of course, be used for bad. And so you can prioritize safety and security by hashing this and making use of blockchain. Blockchain is a very effective means of obfuscating your privacy in such a way that it hashes it that can't basically it's a one-way hash, which means you're basically making a secret code of your I guess you can call it a secret code of your data, but it only goes one way. You can't unencode it. The only people who can see that code is somebody else that has a key, but you're the only one with the key. So therefore, it's always going to be encoded. It's always going to be secretive. You don't have to worry about being hacked or whatever, and somebody figuring out your information. Of course, the point of error for all of that is always the human point. So people can, they call it social engineering, where they can try to persuade you into giving them your information. But that's a thing of awareness and education. For the object itself, for the technology itself, there are plenty of ways to keep it very secure, maybe even unhackable, by ways of creating a hardware-based, a closed system, basically. Kind of like a toaster. You can't hack a toaster because it has no computers that you know about. You can't. It has no open wavelengths or anything like that. Maybe a smart toaster might be able to get hacked, but again, that's mostly because it's not built with a closed system in mind. It's not built with safety in mind. It's built to just do whatever. But for this is built with safety in mind. So it can be a closed button attached to the tether. You click the button, it sends power and sends directions up there. But you can also click the button to stop it. And so any hacker would have to get a hold of that tether, would have to get a hold of that button. And the tether itself could be made of carbon fiber or spider silk carbon fiber, which is like, I think, about 500 times stronger than steel or titanium or something like that. But there are definitely ways to create fiber that's almost untouchable, uncuttable, undamageable, whatever the word is, invulnerable rather. And there are plenty of ways to just ensure your own safety. And it just makes no sense that we're in this time and place where technology is so capable of doing so much, and yet we're not solving these problems like freaking sex trafficking and kidnapping, which has been going on for millennia, for centuries, for thousands of years. We need to stop this. There's also ways you can put these drones and these tethers and these kites or whatever, these tools, at conventions, which is apparently the biggest place where things like this happen. You can put these on the perimeter of these conventions in order for them to regularly look at things that may be going awry. You could have them search for elevated levels of cortisol or something like that. No, there's a specific chemical that relates to fear, a very specific type of fear. And I believe there are definitely ways for you to build a drone or technology piece that is able to pick up on this. You can also have the drone just pick up on outline patterns. So human behavior has a lot of similar patterns you can always get familiar with. You can teach a machine to learn these patterns, and so that if it sees an outliers, it can ping the people about these outliers, and they can check them out to see if it's a kidnapping going on in progress or something like that. And then you can send the drone to follow that kidnapper to their hideout and find the big people in there, or at the top of this chain, this food chain, this terrible thing. I believe there are many ways we can be solving these problems, and it's about time that we solve them. Again, I hate that it took something like this for me to realize that, for me to actually think about this stuff. But we need to fix it. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of Thoughts of a Trainer.